Thank you, Dave. Sold out at Mosaic for a game billed as a possible playoff preview. It's the third and final regular season meeting between the 7-4 Stampeders and the 5-6 Roughriders. Military day at Mosaic. The fly pass by the Hawks from CFB Moose Jaw. What a glorious autumn Sunday on the prairies. Temperature 21 degrees and a gentle breeze.
Rider head coach Corey Chamberlain made a bold guarantee publicly this week and challenged his defense to stop John Cornish. He said, if John Cornish gets over 100 yards rushing in this game this afternoon, someone on that defense will lose their job. John Cornish did have 159 in the game against the Roughriders in August.
Here we go. The Stampeders have won the last 7 meetings between these two teams. Kristen Jackson on the return. And he'll get spun around just beyond the 35-yard line and taken down. Duran Mayo with the tackle, and Darian Durant back after missing last week with a hip flexor injury.
And we'll take a good hard look at Darian Durant. Is he favoring that hip flexor? Can he do what he likes to do, which is take off and run? Corey Sheets leads the Canadian Football League in yards from scrimmage coming into this game, and then Ben Heenan is back in the lineup at left guard for Brennan Labatt.
Starters to watch brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the CFL and its 8 teams. Into a double tight end formation with 4 receivers out, and Durant's first pass into the hands of Chris Getzlaff, who drops the football on the carpet, still loose, and who's got it? Getzlaff had a shot to get it back, and they are ruling. Eric Fraser thought he came up with the football, and it is Stampeder football.
Well, timing on the throw perfect to Getzlaff. He had this ball secured as he turned around on this little curl route and has taken the crowd right out of this game immediately. Now, does he lose that before the knee comes down by contact? There's clearly a catch. And Getzlaff had turned.
That's Charleston Hughes with the forced fumble, a guy who has just racked up the defensive stats against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, let's take another look from another angle to see if he did touch his knee down. It looked like just before his knee touched the turf, that ball came out.
Challenge flag is out from Corey Chamberlain at the Rough Rider bench.
Saskatchewan is challenging the ruling of down by contact. We'll review the play.
I think Corey Chamberlain really has to challenge this. He has no choice. It's that close. It's whether or not Chris Getzlaff, his knee, his left knee, is down before the ball comes out of there. He's got possession, clearly a catch, and then turn and run. In fact, switched arms with it. Now the question is that knee down prior to the ball being punched out? It's not there.
Looks like it's out, and the ruling on the field was a fumble. Is there enough evidence to overturn? This angle might give you a different perspective, and that ball is out before the knee touches down.
I think you're right, Chris. I think this ball comes out just a second before, split second before that knee touches. It's on its way out now. I'm not sure the knee is on the ground at that point. Right there, I think this call stands.
The ruling on the field stands. First down, Calgary.
So the Saskatchewan Roughriders turn it over for the 20th time this year. Did a pretty good job of protecting the football.
Charleston Hughes has been a monster against this Rider team in 2 games this year.
Yeah, we'll get to that. His numbers pretty impressive. Kevin Glenn will try and capitalize quickly. And that pass for Robbie Bryant caught and tossed down quickly by the former Stampeder, Milt Collins.
2 games against the Riders this year. Charleston Hughes has 4 tackles, 3 quarterback sacks, now a 3rd forced fumble. That was coming into the game here this afternoon. He now has a 3rd forced fumble, interception, and a knockdown. Can't get better statistically playing on defense. Woo!
High for Bryant, 2nd and 5. Kevin Glenn wide open is Johnny Porzani. And Porzani down to the 30-yard line. It's a first down for the Stampeders. Tristan Jackson with the tackle.
Last time the Calgary Stampeders were here in Mosaic Stadium, Kevin Glenn got off to a great start. His first 2 series of the game in a real tough game with wind conditions. Moved the ball right down the field and put 2 majors on the board quickly.
2 plays for the Stamps, and John Cornish has not seen the ball yet. A focal point coming in. Marquay McDaniel in motion. And the direct snap to Cornish, left side. And Cornish will get down to the 25-yard line. Joe Lobendon in pursuit. Milk Collins another tackle.
Well, we will be watching John Cornish and tracking exactly how many yards he gets after Corey Chamberlain's challenge. Now, if he's going to have a good game, that means their O-line and Calgary O-line have got to play their best game. Demetrius Supis leads that group. And remember, the last time that the Riders did shut down John Cornish, Nick Lewis had 98 yards and 3 touchdowns.
4 for Cornish, who had 113 yards in the first half of their last meeting. Kevin Glenn takes a shot, and this one incomplete. Bill Collins with good coverage on the intended target, Johnny Forzani.
And it looked like a bit of a communication error there between Forzani and Kevin Glenn. Forzani slowed up right around the 5-yard line, and that ball thrown deep into the end zone. So different result. Is Calgary going to have to settle for a field goal attempt than the last time they were here at Mosaic? It was 14-0 really before the Riders knew what hit them.
Stamps riding a 4-game win streak in which they've dominated the opening quarter of play, outscoring their opponents 41-1 in the first 15 minutes. From 33 yards out, Rennie Paredes puts it through, and after the fumble by Getzlaf, the Stampeders get first blood. 33-yard field goal, and Calgary strikes first here.
Receiver Brooks Foster was injured. That's why Tristan Jackson's able to get back on the roster, and he'll be back there to return with Jock Sanders being more and more involved in the offense for Saskatchewan.
Paredes kicks it off, and once again it will be Tristan Jackson. A little trouble finding the handle, but now up across the 30 with speed, and Tristan Jackson up across the 40-yard line to set things up for the Roughriders' second possession.
Charleston Hughes forced fumble on the first possession. He leads the team in sacks. He leads the team in tackles for losses, and he's the leader for the defensive line in tackles. Juwan Simpson, the middle linebacker, leads the team in tackles, and Malik Jackson had that one interception against Saskatchewan that really sparked the comeback for Calgary early in the year.
Stampeders win the first 2 games 41-38 in overtime and 17-10 in their previous visit to Mosaic. Here's Corey Sheets, match up with the top 2 running backs in the league. And check that, Jock Sanders with the first carry, and Sanders actually led the Roughriders in rushing last week in the loss against Montreal.
Yeah, I don't think we should be surprised at all to see him get the ball a little bit more. He has a real nice 11.9-yard rush average when he does see it.
Yeah, they've been able to use, like Corey Holmes, slot back at times, running back at other times, 2nd and 4. Protection for Durant, and Weston Dressler has the catch and a first down. A 2nd down conversion catch, his 17th of the year, and he's had 7 in the last 2 weeks. He's becoming the go-to guy on 2nd down.
Ranked 6th in the CFL in receiving. Just runs a nice out route here on Jamar Wall.
So first down for Dressler and the Roughriders, just shy of the midfield stripe. A lot of pre-snap motion for the Roughriders so far on offense. And Durant takes a look downfield, and just out of the reach of the intended target, Taj Smith.
Saskatchewan's going to put 4 receivers to the wide side of the field and then bring one back, and that is Taj Smith back to the opposite side. Layer him right across the seam and back to the weak side of the formation. He does have a bit of an angle, and this one just misses by about a yard. Tough to cover that kind of route because you're going all the way across the field on it. You get caught in a chase position.
2nd and 10, and a quick jump there by the middle linebacker, Juwan Simpson.
That's Darian Durant using the cadence to keep the Calgary defensive front 7 off balance.
Offside. Calgary number 12. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Cadence can be a weapon for a quarterback. That hard count is why Juwan Simpson jumps offside and gets Darian back in a workable situation. 2nd and medium.
Fullback Neil Hughes in. 2nd and 5 after the penalty. Durant steps up. He's in trouble but gets away. Dumps it off, and there is Hughes. The outlet man out of the backfield to get a first down. Well, there's Darian Durant.
Yeah.
With his poise under fire.
Well, and this is the first test on that hip flexor injury that caused him to miss the game in Montreal and drew Willie to start a week ago. Corey Chamberlain deciding to rest him last week because of a hip flexor strain. Now, he's going to have to try and avoid the rush at times throughout this game this afternoon, and that's what Corey Chamberlain's looking for. That's the first test, and he passed it.
Says he's somewhat pain-free. Again, it's Sanders out of the backfield, and Jock Sanders, the good run. The ball popped out, and does Calgary have the football once again? See a play ruled dead.
Jamar Wall is looking to the sideline to get a challenge flag here.
Take another look, and the Stampeders defense does want a challenge, and they have a good case.
And that was Charleston Hughes again from the backside.
Roughriders trying to line up quickly, but John Huffnagel has thrown the challenge flag.
If that in fact was Hughes from the backside, that will be his 4th forced fumble.
Calgary is challenging down by contact. We'll review the play.
But it looked to me when we watched it on that first replay that this ball is knocked out of there. Here comes 39, the big right arm coming down on it again. And Jock Sanders loses the handle. It's on its way out before his knee comes down. And right after the play, the Calgary Stampeders recovered it. I think this may be overturned. It was ruled down by contact, correct?
Stampeders offense already on the field. We haven't had the verdict from the command center, but the Stamps ready to go to work on offense.
That's just tremendous second effort from Charleston Hughes on those plays. That's the play when you strip from behind. It's just hustling to the football. It's not about schemes.
That would tie him for the league lead with Enoch Mwamba at 5.
And 4 against this team this year, including an interception as a defensive lineman against the Riders. And on their opening 2 series in this game this afternoon, he's now stripped the ball in both of them.
Not bad for a guy that didn't make our top 50.
Well, he's moving up the list rapidly, I guarantee you that. 31 tackles on the season. I mentioned he leads the team in sacks with 6.
Wall clearly the fumble recovery for Calgary, and this taking a lot longer than
I'm mad I missed that sack.
the players on both sides would expect it.
And that play that Darian Durant avoided the sack and got it to Neil Hughes, that was Charleston Hughes that almost had him. And that's what he's talking about on the sideline. He said, I almost had that sack. Matt, I missed that, but he gets another strip. We'll see.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. He's second down, Saskatchewan.
I'm surprised with that call. I really am. It looked to me like he lost the handle. Unless the league is ruling that he gained control against his hip as it went down, but he clearly loses the ball there, is trying to gain control of it as it goes down. And that ball comes out of the backside. Calgary recovers it. Jamar Wall.
Wow, that
surprised me. Yep, that ruling really surprised me.
That's a major break for the Roughriders. And so it's second and short, and there's Drew Willie to carry the ball for a first down. Well, the command center gets a second look. It doesn't mean they're...
Well, I can only guess, Chris, that they're ruling that Jock Sanders pinned it against his leg.
With the knee there.
With the knee down, and that constituted that he had gained control of the football again. But
if he had control of the football, why was it on the carpet?
That's right. And it's clearly getting pushed around there, and it's on the carpet there and out the back. So that ruling really surprises me, and it is a break for the Riders.
And now an injured Stampeder. And it's the big defensive tackle, DeMonte Bolden, getting attention. Well, just one turnover for Saskatchewan, and they continue with the ball when we come back. Charleston Hughes talking to the Saskatchewan huddle, and he's made some noise so far this season against the Roughriders.
It's not very often you get an interception as a rush in. He got that against Saskatchewan. There's a couple of the forced fumbles.
Junior Turner's come into the game for the injured DeMonte Bolden. Roughrider first down, the play action fake into the hands of Dressler, and he gets bounced out along the sidelines by Keon Raymond.
Right now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are changing things up offensively. They're bringing Corey Sheets out of the backfield and getting him out as a receiver, and then putting Jock Sanders right there back in the backfield to see what kind of reaction that Calgary defense will have to it. If they bring out a linebacker to cover him, they know they're in man-to-man. If they leave the linebackers in the box, then Darian Durant knows it's going to be a zone defense.
Bell and Hughes check in at tight end. Brian Bulkey bulks up the Calgary defensive line, and straight ahead, Corey Sheets has a first down. Number 2 in rushing in the league coming in.
And number 1 coming in yards from scrimmage. In fact, we've got the number 1 rusher in this game, the number 1 running back in yards from scrimmage in this game, and John Cornish and Corey Sheets, and some pretty good blocking right up front to open up a crease.
Tenth play of the drive. Here's Durant to the wide side. Scott McHenry's got it, and he'll lunge down around the 3-yard line. Just his 3rd catch of the year, but he gives Saskatchewan first and goal.
A bit of an audition, because Corey Chamberlain does have some flexibility in his lineup here in this game this afternoon, because he's got Greg Carr on the lineup, because he's playing with 9 Canadians starting on offense and defense, and he can make some substitutions. So Scott McHenry's in a bit of a audition.
Short yardage crew comes in. First and goal at the 3. Drew Willie. And in motion, that's big Keith Shulligan. Second man, Corey Sheets. Second effort. Down near the goal line, and no signal. Sheets with 10 touchdowns on the year, and stop short there.
Malik Jackson is going to step up and hold the line. as he just scrapes over with Juwan Simpson, gets that cutback lane and steps in there and keeps Corey Sheets short.
So second and goal for Willie, and he'll try it himself to Willie. As they broke in the plane, touchdown. Drew Willie's third touchdown of the year, and the Roughriders take the lead.
Well, the Riders get a huge break on that challenged play from the Calgary Stampeders. Sideline that play stood on the field, they maintained possession, it ends in a touchdown. I know Calgary fans are saying, well, what happened? But the Riders get a huge break and they take advantage of it by punching it in.
Well, they survived the challenge and drive for over 6 minutes and punch it into the lead. A 12-play drive, 67 yards, but this is the play we'll be talking about.
Well, that was the Charleston Hughes strip on Jock Sanders that was ruled as down by contact, not overturned. I immediately text Tom Higgins, the head of officiating, to see what they saw. He said there was not enough evidence, according to the replay official, to overturn it. So whatever call was made on the field would have stood.
We respectfully disagree, and I'm sure Calgary may disagree more vehemently than that. LaMarcus Coker on the return doesn't reach the 25-yard line. Stamps go back to work on offense when we return. John Cornish from the Stamps gets set to go back on offense, but first to the sidelines, here's Lee Jones.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Usually when you get your job threatened, it doesn't go down too well, but that was not the case with the Riders' defensive players. They loved when Corey Chamberlain came out and made that guarantee. In fact, talking to defensive tackle Keith Sholigan yesterday, he said they all think if you're not doing a job, you shouldn't be on the field anyways. Now, to be able to stop Calgary Stampeders and John Cornish, they feel they have to play football like they did back in the 1970s, throwback football where you see tape and blood flying, guys.
Now here's Cornish. Let's see if they swarm them, and they do. Good contain of John Cornish. And Joe Lobendon in the middle of it. A guy added to the Saskatchewan Roughriders at middle linebacker for the game after John Cornish ran wild.
Well, and he's a pure linebacker. 14 tackles for him in the 3 games since arriving in Saskatchewan, and there specifically, especially this afternoon, to stop John Cornish. And I like what Corey Chamberlain did as well, challenging his defense.
Sam Hurl checks in on the defense, 2nd and 6. Kevin Glenn the pass, and it's caught. That's Joe West, and he's still going and takes a wrap from Tyron Brackenridge. But Joe West, whose first catch in the CFL was a touchdown here at Mosaic, has a big Calgary first down.
Just 3 catches last week, but against Saskatchewan in that game had 5 and that touchdown, and that he just fought off Eddie Russ there and takes a big hit from Brackenridge.
19 yards for West. First down for Calgary at the 46. Here again is Cornish, and Cornish
down there.
Green wave. Boy, 100 yards is going to be tough today with Joe Lowe in the middle.
Well, don't be surprised at all to see Dave Dickinson start to go to a little play action and get, if John Cornish is going to draw this much attention and Joe Lobendon is focused in on number 9 and is there in the hole to meet him, then the next step and the next progression offensively is to go to play action.
And number 82 is usually a target then. 2nd and 10. Here comes the heat, and Glenn is wrapped. Back at the 37-yard line, and it's Milt Collins off the corner. The former Stampeder gets home.
Going to get some help from Odell Willis, who's going to come on an inside stunt, and then off the edge is going to be Milt Collins, the former Calgary Stampeders. But Odell Willis comes down Main Street. He's going to flush now Kevin Glenn right into the blitz, which is coming from Milt Collins.
Rob Maver leads the league in net punting. Here's Sanders back at the 28. Dancing around, nothing doing. Duran Mayo down to lead the Stamps cover team. 44-yard boot, no return, and Darian Durant back to work.
5 of 6 and 40 yards in the start of this football game. Hasn't really favored that strained hip. Did avoid the rush a couple of times.
Averaged 199 yards in his 2 starts against Calgary. Has not thrown for over 200 since August the 10th. And of course came out of the Banjo Bowl early in the Labor Day rematch, and last week did not play against the Alouettes. Here's Corey Sheets up across the 30. Short gain for Sheets.
Our priority now for this Saskatchewan offense will be to establish Corey Sheets and try and block up Charleston Hughes. I mean, this is a guy that's causing all kinds of havoc. So Bob Dice, the offensive coordinator, now can choose to do one of 2 things: run right at Charleston Hughes, or just try and run away from him. But when they run away from him, he's caught him on the backside, and that's how he's stripping the football.
Good news for the Stamps. Devontae Bolton's back in on the defensive line. Eric Fraser, safety blitz. Durant gets it away, and it's a completion. Taj Smith has the catch. And a Rough Rider first down. Just 10 catches in his last 4 games. Taj Smith has not been a regular target, but a big catch here.
Well, you're going to see the safety right here, Eric Fraser, step up and start to sneak towards the line, and then he's going to come on the safety blitz. And Darian Durant has to stand in there, take this hit from number 7 to throw the strike outside.
13-yard connection on a first down at the Rough Rider 45-yard line. Sheets again. About 3 straight ahead. Bolden in on the tackle.
Best offensive lineman for Saskatchewan Roughriders this year has been Brendan Labatt, who is out due to injury. Ben Heenan replaces him. They move Chris Best over to his spot, and Ben Heenan back at guard. Now, Heenan did start the season playing for the injured Chris Best, so he does have a little experience. First-round draft pick for Saskatchewan this year.
2nd and 7. And Durant to the wide side. McHenry the catch. And the Stamps rally to the football quickly. And the tackle made by Bennett, and Tad Cornegay, the former Rough Rider with the first contact, was a little slow to get up after the hit on McHenry.
Yeah, he really was. He was doing his inventory, walking across, trying to look like he took the worst of that hit. Scott McHenry has just matched his season total. 2 catches coming in, 2 catches this afternoon. He will be short of the first down, however, because of the hit from Cornegay. You can see to the left of your screen, he was slow to get up.
And a fake here. It's going to Diamond Ferry on the direct snap. He's got to get around the edge and won't do it. So the gadget play doesn't work for the Rough Riders on 3rd down, and Diamond Ferry angled out of bounds short of the first. A turnover on downs for the Rough Riders to wrap up the first quarter. Our first quarter stats brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the Canadian Football League and its 8 teams.
Well, one of our storylines, of course, is how many yards John Cornish gets, because if he gets over 100, someone for the Riders will be cut or benched because of it, according to Corey Chamberlain. Riders did have the edge in time of possession, got a break on that one call that wasn't overturned, and you take a look at a real good football team, 2 Western teams here.
So the second turnover is on that turnover on downs. It didn't work. You like the fact, though, that Corey Chamberlain's playing on the edge here.
Well, yeah, he's going after this win. He's challenged his defense, and they played and responded well against John Cornish so far. Aggressive in the play calling. I'm not sure about the execution of it.
He talked about this being a possible playoff preview for the Rough Riders to host a home game This one is a must-win. Nick Lewis has his first catch of the game, and he is dropped at the Saskatchewan 46.
Let's go back to that fake punt because I like the aggressive play calling. This is Chris Milo, the punter, but watch how they take him out of there early, which will alert the punt return team for Calgary. I mean, once Milo leaves the punt formation like that, that gives them a split second to say the only option the Riders have from here on out is to run the fake.
Chris Randall with early penetration, and Charleston Hughes forced very out of bounds short. Here's Rob Cote, and Cote's got a first down. Dropped at the Saskatchewan 31-yard line. A guy who had a big play in the late stages of the last meeting here at Mosaic that wrapped up the game for the Stamps.
And he is going to get, Chris, an enormous block from Nick Lewis on Joe Lobendon, who's in pursuit. Watch number 8 try and track him down, and here comes number 82. And how many times have we seen him make that block?
By the way, 82 is 2 catches away from the top 10 in all-time CFL receiving, and he's got another, so 1 catch away now, and Lobendon brings Lewis down, but it's another Calgary first down. Ties Rocky DiPietro for 10th all-time with that catch. 1 more to get to the top 10 himself.
Well, Nick Lewis is lined up as a tight end here and has the size to play fullback or tight end and the speed to be a wide receiver. That's why he's so dangerous.
First down, direct snap, John Cornish to the right side, and he'll be brought down at the 10-yard line.
Now tied with Rocky DiPietro in the all-time receptions list at 706. 1 more, and he will take 10th place by himself.
Lewis to the sidelines here. Fans get revved up. 2nd and 6. Kevin Glenn looks to the end zone. McDaniel, touchdown. Great catch from Marquay McDaniel, and his first touchdown as a Calgary Stampeder.
Well, he had to climb the ladder to go up and get it, because Kevin Glenn had to put this ball high because of the drop from the Saskatchewan linebacking core. So he gets the time up front. He's going to have to throw it up and over because Joe Lobendon was underneath that throw. And Marquay McDaniel comes down with it.
That's my first one. That's my first one.
So the Stampeders' points come off turnovers. 3 off the first fumble, and now a touchdown off that turnover on downs. And the extra point provided by Paredes. And once again, Calgary has a 3-point lead.
The first one, need another one.
Marquay McDaniel, see mentioned a couple times on the bench there. It's his first touchdown of the season.
And that's for everybody back home in Virginia. Got my first one. Need another with this W.
Mention it again that it's his first one.
I think it was bothering him he didn't have one. But he has been a regular contributor, hasn't he?
Yeah. And a big game against Saskatchewan. One of the 2 outings, 7 catches for 75 yards. He didn't have a catch in the other game.
So a couple of lead changes. So far in the game, Tristan Jackson on the return, trying to find a crease. And still going. Somehow stayed upright for a few extra yards. Up across the 30-yard line. Charleston Hughes makes another tackle.
They show you when you're worried about John Cornish, and the 3 guys I've identified have been Tyrone Brackenridge, the receiver Marquay McDaniel, and John Cornish. Now watch Brackenridge. Stop it there, guys. Brackenridge has stepped up to look at Cornish, does not get enough depth in his drop, and that's where the ball ends up going to Marquay McDaniel on the touchdown. Because these linebackers are so concerned about John Cornish's rushing yards, they're moving forward to him first.
Here's Durant with a fake. Now he wants to go deep. He wants Dressler, and broken up. Nice recovery on the play by the veteran, Keon Raymond, on the corner. Looked like Dressler had a step.
Well, we know he did have a step, Chris, but you know when you have a veteran DB like Keon Raymond, he is in control and understands he can wait on his speed, get in the trail position. Nice little double move there to get open and get that step, but wait till the ball arrives. And the timing perfect from Keon Raymond.
Weston Dressler with just 2 30-yard pass plays on the year. Flags fly, maybe a free play. Dressler, and this is intercepted. It's picked off, and back the other way goes Chris Randall, the Sam linebacker, with the interception. But again, flags fly, and it looked like Calgary was offside. Would be Randall's second interception. He had one on Labor Day.
Calgary Stampeders showed blitz and were offside.
Offside. Calgary number 11. 5-yard penalty. Second down repeated.
Malik Jackson.
Malik Jackson was in there. I'm not sure if they got the right number on who was offside, because the Stamps are coming with their secondary and faking the blitz. Lots of movement up front. Could have been one of a couple of guys.
Yeah, it looked like Donovan Robinson, the newcomer at defensive end, may have jumped into that neutral area. A reprieve for Durant, 2nd and 5. And here's Sanders, first down. Malik Jackson will catch up to him and toss it out near midfield.
No penalty flags down, but it was very close. Malik Jackson on that sideline. I think fans here at Mosaic Stadium wanted to see a flag fly and possible unnecessary roughness call here. But Jock Sanders going to sneak through the line here, get outside, and Darian Durant lets him do the rest after just a high percentage throw across the middle.
So it's a 16-yard pickup for the Roughriders and a first down at the Saskatchewan 53. Back inside the Sanders. And now down to the Calgary 52-yard line. 5 more. Does he not look a lot more like Corey Holmes with each time he touches the ball?
Well, he really does. And I guess a good problem to have for Saskatchewan when you have Corey Sheets, who, as we mentioned, led the league coming into this week's games in yards from scrimmage. And yet we've seen a lot more Jock Sanders in this offense so far this afternoon. Sanders lined up in the backfield now on 2nd and 5. Now releases, and they swing it to Dressler. Weston Dressler, first down. Looks for a block and is dropped at the 36-yard line. Weston Dressler has stepped up the last couple of weeks and really become a vocal leader in this Saskatchewan offense. It's a nice play on the swing here. Good blocks down the field by the Rider receivers. And Weston Dressler finds and picks his way up to first down territory. He was outspoken last week about the young team's performance and wants to see this team grow up, as he says. And there is Charleston Hughes snuffing another play, enveloping Jock Sanders behind the line of scrimmage and dropping him for a loss. You know, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to have to look to get some help for blocking on Charleston Hughes, and that may mean some more Neil Hughes, the fullback. This time they just pull away from him and allow him a free lane. Been a good season for Charleston Hughes, but a dominant first half. So a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Sheets back in. And Durant unloads. He's got Ty Smith, and he can't make the catch. Eric Fraser, the safety, separates Smith from the football with that hit. You know, Charleston Hughes runs a little spin move in here, gets inside, and he flushes Darian Durant, who I think probably wanted to throw that a little bit sooner than he did, to give Taj Smith a chance to make the catch and then secure it before he takes the hit. Watch the move here on the inside spin. Right there on Patrick Neufeld. That flushes Darian Durant out, forces him to hold the ball for a split second. He can't throw it on time, and that allows Eric Fraser time to come put the hit on.
Not a huge win, but the Roughriders going into it in the second quarter. They opt not for the 48-yard field goal attempt. Instead, Chris Milo kicks to the corner and gets the 31-yarder to pin Calgary deep. 10th start of the season for Kevin Glenn. He's done a terrific job as the insurance policy in Calgary. With more, here's Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. He's having a career season as far as completion percentage is concerned, 67.9. And not just that, talking with running back John Cornish yesterday, he said that he was so impressed with the composure that he shows in the huddle, especially after making some mistakes. And he did point out to that first meeting they had with Saskatchewan when they came back in the fourth quarter after a tough run for the first three quarters with the offense. Guys?
It's when you want a quarterback with composure, backed up at Mosaic, and Kevin Glenn, you don't see that often, but he sprints ahead and should have the first down.
I'll take a look at Kevin Glenn throughout this winning streak and saw that completion percentage. That's what jumps out. It's best of his career so far. The rest are not jumping off the page at you, especially touchdowns to interceptions. He has had a little issue with that over the last couple of games with the interceptions, but the team has been able to rally around Kevin Glenn and come out with the win anyway. And I talked to Dave Dickinson, the offensive coordinator, about him. He said he just loves his resilience, that he's a pro, he studies hard, and when bad things happen, he bounces right back.
Marked him just short of the first down. Bo Levi Mitchell comes in to sneak for the first down, and Kevin Glenn will go back to work against the Roughriders this year. And Kevin, of course, a former Saskatchewan Roughrider, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Well, you remember back when these two teams played in Calgary, and the comeback led by Kevin Glenn. This is the first meeting of the season, and that was when Nick Lewis had the 3 touchdowns, and this was started that comeback. Kevin Glenn didn't play perfect again, but bounced back from adversity and led the Calgary Stampeders to a come-from-behind win.
Fake to Cornish underneath Cote, and Rob Cote brought down at the 21-yard line. Diamond Ferry on the tackle.
I think just working with Dave Dickinson has helped him. He threw around the rush there from Shamari Williams, and Dave Dickinson has figured out over the time that he's had Kevin Glenn at the helm what he does best and what he wants to stay away from, and he says he's got Kevin Glenn playing with great confidence.
Glenn went over 35,000 career yards passing last week. Moved ahead of Dieter Brock into 12th all-time. Next up, he's under 1,000 yards away from Kent Austin. Second down, and that pass too high for Lewis, who looked for flags, but none thrown to Eddie Russ in coverage for the Roughriders.
Joe Lobendon does such a nice job here, Chris, of showing like he's going to blitz on this play, getting the attention of Kevin Glenn right here, and then dropping out to this area back here. Lobendon gets underneath the throw that Kevin Glenn wants. See him drop, step underneath that receiver. That's where Kevin Glenn wanted to go. He couldn't, had to hold on to it too long, and then couldn't find Nick Lewis.
So Saskatchewan forces Calgary to punt. Rob Maver kicking to Tristan Jackson, and Jackson gets hit hard as he approached the 45-yard line. 3 on the return after a kick of 43 yards. Roughriders start at the 45. Big to Sheets. There's Dressler. Little room across midfield. And the other 7 on the field tosses him out at the 46-yard line. 19 more for Dressler, closing in on 6th spot all-time on the Roughrider receiving list.
Averaging 67.5 yards per game of offense receiving, and this is just a little dump pass, little misdirection to have him start on the right side and come out the opposite side of the formation wide open.
Passed Chris DeFrance last week. Next catch, he'll probably put him past Dan Farthing into 6th all time. First down, Durant. There's Dressler. First down, and a little bit more. So he bounces off, and Jamar Wall tried the strip, but Weston Dressler holds on.
This time he comes out of a little bit of a rub here. Is he just going to gear it down? Little inside move on Chris Randall. Nice shake and bake there, and then off the pick or the rub from Taj Smith. Nice gain for Weston Dressler.
So 13 more for Dressler. 5 catches, 59 yards in this first half. Under 4 minutes remaining. Back into the hands of Sanders, and he'll get corralled right at the 30-yard line.
Be interesting to see the halftime adjustments that Saskatchewan will try to make to try and block up Charleston Hughes. Had a big half again against his football team. A forced fumble, bunch of tackles, whether it's the special teams or defense. Now, it's a couple of ways you can do that if you're the Roughriders. One, you could bring in a tight end and make the corner a little bit wider for the rush end and Hughes. Or maybe the fullback Neil Hughes could come in and help out on those tackles. A little bit of blocking help.
Boy, his range is impressive. You saw in that last highlight pack. Second down, Durant. Sidearming that. Thomas Smith, almost a circus catch. Incomplete.
Well, he did a nice job of adjusting to this football. Taj Smith, great body control. And finding it, because he opens up and then has to flop over, and it's very difficult to find the football again when you do that. He did a split second before the ball arrives and just couldn't squeeze it. But what an adjustment.
Yeah, working against Tad Cornegay. So Sandro DeAngelis will come on and look for the tying points, and DeAngelis puts it through from 37 yards out. Game tied at 10 with just under 3 minutes to go first half. Diamond Ferry in its safety on this defensive package for Saskatchewan. Kevin Glenn to the man who has the Calgary touchdown, Markway McDaniel, up at the 45-yard line.
Riders have had to make some adjustments defensively. Tay George is bumped out to defensive end. No Brent Hawkins in this game. He was a scratch due to a nick. So Mick Williams has been playing in the interior. Defensive coordinator Richie Hall trying to make some adjustments. They haven't got a sack from that group yet in this game.
There's Cornish. John Cornish with his best run so far across midfield. Taken down by the corner Terrell Mays, but it's a 10-yard run for John Cornish, the 25th rush of 10 yards or more on the season for Cornish.
He kind of has a big game, and then he has one with not so big numbers, and then he comes back with another big game. 3 times in the last 6 he's been over 150.
So 22 yards so far. Here comes the pressure, and a huge hit on Kevin Glenn by the newcomer, Diamond Ferry.
Shamari Williams is going to get the assist on this, as he's going to come down and open the corner. Important for the defensive end there, so that the next one coming around gets that open corner on Kevin Glenn. So Shamari Williams will draw the blocks. He does that by sacrificing himself to open up Diamond Ferry coming off the edge, and Kevin Glenn has no chance.
Loss of 10. And now Craig Butler checks back into the game at safety after that sack from Ferry. Draw play, and this opens up big time, and Butler has to come across to close it down on John Cornish. Good play by Butler.
It really was. No James Patrick in the lineup tonight. Craig Butler playing at safety, and this is difficult to do. You don't see him in your screen yet. He's deep playing in the middle, and John Cornish has tons of running room, and this is an open field tackle with, look at all the direction he can go, or the field he can go in either direction. Lots of room either way, and Craig Butler cuts him down. That's a big-time open field tackle right there.
Neighbor with the punt. Tristan Jackson takes it just inside his 20. Calgary's cover teams have been outstanding of late. Last week, Winnipeg had 9 yards on punt returns on 6 tries. That's how good the cover is. There hasn't been much more for Saskatchewan in this first half.
Darian Durant has some time here. Minute 10, plenty of time. 11 of 15. 121 hasn't favored that leg injury at all. That's the good news for Rider fans. And Kahari Jones, his coordinator, on the sideline. The Riders playing both running backs at times here, Jock Sanders and Corey Sheets. Corey Sheets been used more as a receiver, actually, vacating the backfield in this first half.
Last week, Sheets had 81 rushing, 37 receiving. Getzlaf. A little trouble securing that, and does turn it up to the 33-yard line. His first catch since the fumble on the first offensive play of the game.
Another way that Darian Durant can slow down the pass rush from Charleston Hughes is to get it out of there quickly in the quick passing game, and that's what they do here. Getzlaf fights it a little bit, double clutches it, but does make the catch.
9, 2nd and 1, and Sheets for the first down. So just under a minute left now.
I think Corey Chamberlain would rather get Charleston Hughes blocked up than resort to the quick passing game. It really takes your deep ball away unless you just throw a straight fade. But beyond that, you can't hold on to it too long because 39 will be in the area.
84, Greg Carr in the offense. 1st and 10 for Saskatchewan. Durant looking that way, and it's broken up. That's Wall with, or check that, Keon Raymond, who came across, and the veteran Raymond breaks up a pass intended for the newcomer Greg Carr.
Chris, when you're trying to get the ball out there quickly, I want to show you the possibility here that they had with Weston Dressler right down the middle. Now, if you have more time to throw, stop it there, guys. Look at how open Weston Dressler is. But that pressure in this first half, primarily from Hughes, is forcing quicker throws from Darian Durant, and they don't get a chance to make a big play down the field.
2nd and 10 as Durant tries to keep it alive here in the final minute. Into the flat for Carr, and Greg Carr is going to be about a yard short of the first down. Former Eskimo, 11th different receiver to get a start with the Roughriders this year, acquired for Matt O'Donnell, a offensive line draft choice of the Riders that was not signed here.
Yeah, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber O'Donnell did sign with Edmonton. That deal. And you're right, they've gone through a real audition process at receiver. Outside of Getzlaf and Dressler, trying to find some guys to complement those two.
And was not expected to see action this week, but Brooks Foster was nicked in the game against Montreal, practiced early in the week, and then just said he wasn't ready to go. So Carr in with a short list of plays.
Well, and Corey Chamberlain still trying to find the right combination. You mentioned 11 different players starting at receiver this year. 36 different players started at least one game in these starting offense and defense. So Corey Chamberlain still kind of juggling his roster.
And on that theme, we've had 13 different players with receptions on either side in this first half. So everybody using all the weapons available in the first half, which has felt a little bit like the playoff preview, and that's what Corey Chamberlain was addressing this week.
And why he challenged his defense. And so far, John Cornish, by the way, just 32 yards rushing in this first half. And on the sideline waiting for his next opportunity.
So 3rd and inches and out of the shotgun.
That's interesting.
Durant trying to work the cadence. Calgary not biting.
Tried to hard count
the timeout.
Yeah, he tried to hard count him and see if they jump offside and get the freebie.
Timeout.
And when they didn't,
Saskatchewan.
when the Calgary Stampeders stayed disciplined, they called the timeout, and Corey Chamberlain's going to punt the ball.
Interesting that they wouldn't might try a 3rd and less than a yard here, but not going to take any chances in the late stages of the half.
Well, he may be looking now at 9 seconds on the play clock, saying that they may not have enough time to produce points anyway. So don't give Calgary any opportunity if they got the ball right there on the turnover on downs, a chance to put more points on the board.
Below the boot, they'll call the no yards, which will be 15 yards, but can't end on a penalty. But Calgary likely to down the football here on the final play of the half. They'll get it at the 45 after the penalty. They may decline here and just go to the locker room. Let's find out.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 21. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So there will be one more play. It will be just beyond the 45. And of course, Calgary, a team that has executed the Hail Mary better than anybody in recent memory. So we'll find out. That's, by the way, Saskatchewan's first penalty of the day.
After a bad one last week, but there's Bo Levi Mitchell in the game for this final possible Hail Mary attempt.
So they bring the gunslinger in there and out. He will take a shot. Jump ball downfield for Zandy looking for him. And that one almost deflected into the hands of Robbie Bryant. Well, an eventful, loud final out.
This is how they practice it. Robbie Bryant in behind, trying to play the tip. And this close.
Game tied as we take you into the private boxes here at Mosaic. Getting set for the second half, but first to the sidelines, Lee Jones with Charleston Hughes.
Another big game for you against the Riders. Charleston able to get a tackle for a loss, plenty of hurries, 1 forced fumble, and maybe should have been 2 forced fumbles. What's working for you and your team right now?
You know what? Nothing's working right now. You know what? We haven't seen nothing yet. We're not playing to our expectations, how we should be playing right now. We should be playing a lot better than what we are. So I wouldn't say nothing's working.
What do you guys have to change up then in the second half to make sure it works to what you want it to do?
You know what? We got to start tackling better, and we got to start making big plays.
All right, thanks for this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if that first half from 3-9 was nothing, I know Calgary fans can't wait to see something, because that was a big first half.
There's a look at that streak that John Hufnagel has put together against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who haven't beaten Calgary since September 17, 2010. Stamps trying to stay within 2 points of the first place BC Lions, who won a tight one last night, and consolidate their hold on second. Roughriders can move into third on their own and get closer to Calgary and still entertain hopes of a home playoff spot, but have to win here today. Here's LaMarcus Coker on the return, and he gets upended by McHenry as he crosses the 35-yard line.
First half of action, 10 points on the board for the Calgary Stampeders. 100 yards passing for Kevin Glenn. 2 catches for Nick Lewis. 1 more, and he moves into 10th place by himself. And John Cornish, 32 yards. Remember the guarantee from Corey Chamberlain saying if his defense allowed John Cornish 100 or more, someone would be out of a job or benched next week.
Cornish was 681 yards in his last 6 games. And John Cornish finds a seam here, and he'll have a 10-yard carry there.
I touched on it in the first half that John Cornish has been in this last 6 weeks sort of having a real good game and then coming back with one not so good. I mean, you look at back at that Hamilton game, that's a season high for him, 170 yards against Saskatchewan, 159. That's why Joe Lobendon, as you mentioned, is in the lineup for the Riders, and why Corey Chamberlain mentioned that. But if he goes according to that script, he's due for a big one.
Well, he's had 3 consecutive carries of 10 yards or more. Kevin Glenn downfield for Forzani, and Johnny Forzani's got it. And for the 7th straight game, Forzani has a catch of 30 yards or more.
Well, I'm impressed with the throw. I mean, Kevin Glenn was basically off his back foot. He throws a deep corner route to the wide side of the field here. And Forzani's going to run this corner. This is an impressive throw from that hash mark to go and throw it right to the sideline that deep to the wide field.
32-yard play for Johnny Forzani. Short drop, and that out of the reach of Nick Lewis, incomplete. As Kevin Glenn misfires on that attempt for 82.
I said, what was the best thing? Asking Kevin Glenn and Dave Dickinson, what does Kevin Glenn do well? Like, what is his strength? And Dickinson, without hesitation, said his accuracy. He said, I don't think he's got enough credit for just how accurate of a passer Kevin Glenn is. Now, he missed that last one, but that corner route was as good as it gets.
David Vicuni checks in on the defensive line, 2nd and 10. And Kevin Glenn one-hops that to Marquay McDaniel, incomplete.
Guess I jinxed him.
Yeah.
As one, they talk about his accuracy, he misses an out on a high throw and then misses that little one on a one-hopper. But that's what Dave Dickinson was talking about with Kevin Glenn.
And it looked like they had something there as Dickinson and Glenn confer on the sidelines. Hall of Fame quarterback calling the plays for Kevin Glenn. And now from 37 yards out, Rennie Paredes. Just 2 misses on the year for Paredes, now 22 of 24.
Yeah, that Rider fan having fun here on a perfect afternoon for football.
It is spectacular. Corey Sheets lines up as a wideout. Sanders in the backfield, and he takes the handoff, and Chuck Sanders pushing ahead for about 4 yards. Petway on the tackle.
It's interesting to see Corey Sheets used this way in this lineup, and you wonder, as you mentioned in commercial, Chris, if maybe he's nicked. He only had 5 touches in the first half for 20 yards total, coming off a game against Montreal where he had 15 touches.
Now 118 total yards against the Alouettes. Just wondering if, not beaten up enough to stay out of the lineup, but maybe they've got to spell him a little bit. Here's Durant looking to the out, and Ty Smith has a first down catch. Up across the 50-yard line for Ty Smith.
Well, interesting, we were talking about Corey Sheets here, and watch what he does here as he's going to step up and help Patrick Neufeld with a little bit of a chip off the edge, and he just steps a little bit of a shoulder right there, and that's what we talk about. Sometimes you can bring in a tight end and widen the corner for the defensive ends for the Calgary Stampeders, or bring in a running back to chip on Charleston Hughes.
Again, Sheets lined up initially as a receiver, now moves back into the backfield. Stays in to block. Here comes the rush. Durant looking for Getzlaff and can't make the connection.
Well, he's been causing problems, so we've been watching him more and more as this game has gone on. This time the one-on-one again with Patrick Neufeld as Charleston Hughes goes up and around. Darian Durant steps up and buys himself a split second.
And we did ask Corey Chamberlain before the game, where is he concerned about the young Patrick Neufeld, a right tackle, working against Hughes, and had some flexibility to go with an import tackle, but felt strongly that Neufeld could get the job done, and good experience for him. Here's Dressler, catch close to the first down stick. Safety Eric Fraser's there. Let's see where they mark it. But Weston Dressler has become so valuable in recent weeks as this second down conversion man.
Well, good news for the Riders is that he is stepping up, becoming a more vocal leader and making plays like that. And let's look at that matchup you talked about. Patrick Neufeld does a nice job here on a stunt, just to run Charleston Hughes into the middle, away from away from Darian Durant, giving him time to get that ball out there to Weston Dressler.
And it is a first down for Dressler. And I think what Chamberlain was suggesting to us is, this is part of the development. It might not be a perfect matchup now, but how's a young guy going to learn unless he gets this experience?
Well, he, along with Ben Heenan, first-round draft pick in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, you've got a rookie right guard in Ben Heenan back from injury, and a second-year guy, a first-year starter, Neufeld at right tackle.
142, touch!
First down. Here's Sheets, short side, has a hole, and a cutback, and away goes Corey Sheets. Hughes trying to track him down, and Sheets inside the 15.
A big run for Corey Sheets, and he has to get a block to get the edge to make it happen. And the way they're going to do it, Saskatchewan brings in Neil Hughes here, and he's going to come down and crack the edge to give Corey Sheets that corner. Without that key block, Corey Sheets is in trouble, but a big down block from Neil Hughes. He's got the corner, and now he can cut back into open field.
Neil Hughes, a local product, 9-year veteran. And Corey Sheets rumbles for 36.
142, touch!
Shotgun snap, Durant to the end zone, and the intended target, Getzlaf, stumbled on the play, and Getzlaf's shaken up.
He's grabbing that right wrist.
Lost his footing, and he jammed that right wrist on the way down.
Checking the elbow as well. He's just to the right of your screen. And you're right, he loses his footing here. It goes down on his own, and there's the right arm.
Couple catches, 18 yards on the day for Getzlaf.
Right to the elbow.
Not suggesting it's the same, but sometimes they look innocent, like the Drew Tate play early in the year in Toronto when he put an arm down. And in Tate's case, not necessarily what's happened here, but in Tate's case, the shoulder popped out, and Getzlaf will get up and didn't want any help getting up with Ivan Goodfriend pulling on that arm, so feeling the effects of it. The right elbow seems to be the problem. So Aaron Hargraves will come into the offense to replace Getzlaf, and 2nd and 10 from the Calgary 14.
Riders did not get in the red zone a week ago against Montreal.
Second trip today, they scored on a Willie quarterback sneak. Stamp showing pressure. Here they come. Pass into the end zone through the hands of Taj Smith. Ted Cornegay in coverage.
Really did go right through his hands. I thought the throw was accurate enough that Taj Smith had a chance at this. I'm wondering if he was distracted by the upright as he got right in that area. It looked like he lost it briefly.
Earlier this year, we saw Dontrell Inman of the Argos.
That's a catch he's got to make.
Go right into the goal post, and Durant.
Yeah, that's a catch he's got to make. You can see the frustration from Darian Durant.
So DeAngelis from 22 yards out to get the Roughriders even once again. And he pushes it through, and once again we're tied now at 13 here in the third quarter. Earlier today, and here's an interception. It's Joe Lovendon with the pick. And the Roughriders get the football right back.
Right back in scoring position. Joe Lobendon's been doing this well all game long. We've shown you a couple of examples of him coming up and either showing blitz and going, or showing blitz and then dropping out of there. This time he stays just right in the middle, drops right underneath Nick Lewis, and I don't think Kevin Glenn ever saw him. Big play by Joe Lobendon. He's having himself an afternoon.
There's a game-changing play.
Without question, that's exactly the linebacker drop you need in the secondary. Get underneath those throws, you got a chance.
Remember, Lobendon was in Calgary training camp along with Robert McCune and Jawan Simpson, who won that battle, but Lobendon making an impact. Durant for Dressler. And Dressler wrestled down at the 10, the first down.
The timing of this play outstanding, because you're going to get a reverse bootleg here with Dressler coming all the way in and then back out. So the timing is linked up with Darian Durant. Here comes the bootleg as he's going to go there, plant, and then come back to the left side of the formation, waiting for Dressler to set his man up and get open.
Had a couple 100-yard games against Hamilton, 7 catches, 87 on the day here. 1st and 10 from the 11 over the middle. Touchdown, Weston Dressler.
Difference maker. Two times this year, Weston Dressler has led the league in receiving yards. He's racking up some yards, and that's a touchdown. His 7th.
Touchdown number 7 on the year for number 7. Calgary's first 10 points came off turnovers, and now the Roughriders have 7 off that Kevin Glenn interception by Joe Lobendon. Back into Mosaic. And gentlemen, wish you good luck tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I made the chart. Weston Dressler 2 yards away from his 3rd 100-yard game of the season. 8 for 98, and now a touchdown.
That listener appearance made an impact. That was fun. LaMarcus Coker out to the 35, and Kevin Glenn will try and bounce back after the interception, which led to this.
You remember Joe Lobendon's interception? Well, this time the Calgary Stampeders don't drop their linebackers like Saskatchewan did when Lobendon got that interception. That's why Durant knows he can make that hard throw and lead Dressler into the middle. If he's got linebackers in there, he can't make this throw low and hard. He's got to look to a different guy. But both Malik Jackson, Juwan Simpson, they plugged in the line. Darian Durant can throw it inside to number 7.
Into the hands of Cornish, met before the line of scrimmage and punished.
A lot of green shirts swarming John Cornish. Like, he gets anywhere near the football, and there are a lot of green shirts that get there in a hurry. We got at the point of attack right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming, and as they rally, I think 7 and 8 come from the outside, including Odell Willis.
Here comes the pressure, the long out, and Forzani can't hold on. Tristan Jackson with the hit. On Forzani in the flat, quick 2 and out.
Odell Willis comes off the edge, and he gets his hands up and forces Kevin Glenn to make the high throw. And when he does, that gives Tristan Jackson some time. Here comes Odell Willis. Watch him get up there and make Kevin Glenn aware of him. Excuse me, it wasn't Odell. Odell went inside. It was Milt Collins coming off the edge, but he gets up high, and that's why Glenn put the air under the football, and Tristan Jackson had a chance to cut his legs out.
Now Jackson back, awaiting the punt from Rob Maver. That is 33. And across the 40 before Jackson's hauled down. Great tradition here in Saskatchewan, the Plaza of Honor weekend. And this year, the inductees, Nate Davis, Andrew Green, the late Ed Buchanan, part of the Grey Cup team back in '66, and President Tom Robinson. And let's join Lee Jones with Nate Davis.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Nate Davis is one of those intimidating defensive tackles. I guess you can tell the fact that he's almost a foot taller than me. You went from 2001 to 2006. That was about the same time this franchise really started to become a contender every year. How much did it mean for you to be a part of that?
It means a great deal. Like, you know, when you go somewhere, you always want to kind of leave a mark, let know people you've been there, and leave it better than the way you found it. And, you know, I feel really fortunate to have been here at a time when, you know, the team and the organization was experiencing, I guess, a bit of a rejuvenation and you know, seeing all the change that's happened around here, you know, and feeling like, you know, I was a part of that. It's been a really good time.
The guy who battled with you that stood beside you in the trench as defensive tackle, Scott Schultz, was the man who inducted you. How much did that mean for you, for him to do that?
That was really nice. You know, Scott and I, for 6 years, you know, our lockers were right next to each other. It was him and I against, you know, 3 people, and, you know, we took a lot of pride in that job, and, you know, a lot of blood and sweat that goes into that, and, you know, it's a really special bond that you form with somebody when you go through that type of stuff, and, you know, it was great that he was able to come in and introduce me and present me for the Plaza like that.
Well, thanks for this, Nate, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Some guys are finesse runners, speed rushers off the edge, finesse pass rushers. Nate Davis wasn't any of that. He was just straight ahead bull rush guy. Andrew Green, one of the most consistent offensive linemen the Riders have had.
2nd and 10. And that pass complete. There's Getzlaf, who's been the target on 3 straight plays, 2 catches, 1 incompletion, and this will set up a 3rd and about a yard.
Well, and he's really fighting that injury, because every time he gets up, he can barely move the arm. A little push off there to get some separation. But when he did reach out to try and catch that previous play, went through his fingers, and you could see went right back to that elbow.
3rd and a yard, maybe more. It's called 1.5 yards, and Corey Chamberlain has left the offense out and now may want to rethink this. And the punt team will now come onto the field.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 4. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
I was going to say, he is not known as, well, we've seen a fake out of punt formation, but not a guy who likes to gamble a lot, it doesn't seem, in this first year, and that might have been a big gamble here at 3rd and 1.5 yards with his team in the lead by 7. Nilo with a short punt, bouncing down, that'll draw a flag. And Marquay McDaniel get tossed down at the 27-yard line. Sam Hurl, a special teams demon, has got another tackle.
14th special teams tackle for him, and there's John Cornish. Not halfway towards that 100-yard mark. 8 carries, 41 yards for Cornish.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 28. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Greg Butler called on the no yards. And John Cornish really wasn't that impressed with all the talk of the guarantee he wouldn't get 100.
It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Because, I mean, I've stated it, and I've stated it. The only thing that matters is what we do as a team. Anything the other team does, you know, we can deal with that when the time comes.
And it won't mean much for Corey Chamberlain to hold him under 100 if Saskatchewan doesn't win. Boy, that was a dangerous pass thrown short hop to Joe West, and if it hadn't been short, Terrell Mays might have had a pick 6.
I think you're right. Terrell Mays had the jump on this, and if it's not touched at the line of scrimmage by Butler on the safety blitz, he takes that to the house.
and 10. Here comes the heat, and Kevin Glenn is dropped. Dropped for a sack. Looked like first contact was from Jay Alford.
Yeah, Jay Alford, good inside, strong move. He's 304 pounds, and watch him use every pound here to muscle his way inside. Step to the outside, uses his arms, keeps separation, doesn't ever get engaged with his offensive lineman, Spencer Wilson, and he gets first contact.
A guy who Corey Chamberlain felt had beefed up the run defense comes up with a sack and forces the second consecutive Calgary 2-and-out since the interception toss by Kevin Glenn. Should be good field position for the Roughriders here as Tristan Jackson gets outside. And Jackson still on his feet inside the 30-yard line.
Punt return average early in the year took a bit of a hit, dropped down to about 8.0, but he's had some good returns. This may be his best this afternoon. It didn't look like he had much room. I mean, the Calgary cover men are in their lanes, but watch him with a little hesitation there up into the line, then bounces it, and he pulls those Calgary tacklers into a bunch. Look out.
Angled out at the 30-yard line, so the second time the Roughriders have started in Calgary territory here in the second half, trying to add to a 7-point lead. 4 receivers wide side. Durant looking downfield. Dressler stretched out and can't bring it in. He had a step on the Sam linebacker, Chris Randall.
He does, and Randall may have got away with one, maybe a little illegal contact here. Take a look as Weston Dressler is trying to set him up before making that move to the corner. Gets his hands on him. Now, he's okay as long as he's square. I don't think Chris Randall is square, and then gets the pull of the jersey, and that's all it took to keep Weston Dressler from running underneath that football. 33 got away with one there.
Greg Carr has checked back into the Roughriders offense. 2nd and 10. Durant looking for Todd Smith in the end zone. Touchdown!
He made the great adjustment late in the first half. He makes a similar adjustment here, but this time comes up with the catch in the first half. Just dropped it, but what an adjustment to react to the football as Darian Durant throws him away from coverage, throws him open.
.30-yarder for his second touchdown of the season. And a 2-touchdown lead here in the third quarter being built by the Roughriders.
Nice adjustment, and this time Todd Smith comes up with the catch. He's trying to run seam here, but he ends up getting thrown open in this angle this way, and he has to make that adjustment on the fly. So he's coming up the field now. Ball's going to be thrown to the outside shoulder to keep any chance of Malik Jackson getting there from the inside, and Darian Durant makes this accurate throw with Charleston Hughes bearing down at him and tries to just get that to the outside shoulder of Todd Smith because he's going to take a hit as he throws it.
So a couple of touchdown passes by Durant in this third quarter. It's been the best quarter all year for Corey Chamberlain's crew. They've outscored Calgary 17-3 here this afternoon, 96-42. The Roughriders have outscored opponents in the third quarter now on the season. So Durant up to 12 touchdown passes on the year. And a 14-point lead. LaMarcus Coker on the return for the Stamps. And he'll get brought down short of the 30-yard line. And Tosh Smith on the tackle.
3 times this year, Darian Durant's been over 300 yards. On pace to do that in this game. 20 of 30, just shy of 70%. Has 2 touchdown throws. Remember, he did not start last week versus Montreal. Gave the start to Drew Willie so he could rest his hip flexor, which hasn't looked like it's bothered him all game.
Kevin Glenn has been sputtering this second half. 1 for 6. An interception. He's been sacked once. The interception, the first he's thrown in 3 games against the Riders this year. He's got Johnny Forzani, and a catch by Forzani. Out near the 50-yard line. They'll spot him at the 49. As Johnny Forzani makes another grab. 25 yards on this catch.
All by himself, and you see how he comes down from that wide-out spot to get more room on the sideline. So that now when he runs that out, he's got room to allow Kevin Glenn to throw him to the sideline. Milt Collins gets there late and was slow to get up.
Third catch, 69 yards for Forzani. Here's Kevin Glenn underneath Nick Lewis, a catch, and that will put him ahead of Rocky DiPietro, and now into the top 10 all-time in the Canadian Football League in catches.
I played against Rocky DiPietro, and he was almost like a tight end, a Ray Elgar type of player. Big, strong, physical receiver. Nick Lewis passes him to move into 10th spot. Most catches all time. And Nick Lewis has that same size and physical presence as Rocky DiPietro has. But Lewis also has the breakaway speed.
Guy they have not leaned on today as much as we are used to seeing. 7 catches, 131 last week in the lopsided win over Winnipeg.
Move him out to wide receiver. That's called a bang route, by the way, where you go inside, bang into the middle, and then just turn out.
And on the backside of the play, cause for concern for the Roughriders. Keith Shulligan, the native of Spruce Grove, Alberta, getting attention. In his 5th year and becoming a mainstay. Talked about Big Nate Davis and Keith Shulligan, part of the interior of that defensive line now.
A couple sacks on the season for Keith Shulligan. Leads the defensive line in tackles, which is unusual for an interior defensive lineman. Usually those are the rush ends that lead the D-line in tackles, but Shulligan had 15 coming in.
So David Vacune will come in, and Odell Willis signaling to the bench, wanted to get a defensive play call. 2nd and 4, and the Roughriders.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion going on defensively there. And
Jay Elford wasn't on the field. He got on there late, and they called a timeout because they only had 11.
So a late sub after Shulligan came out.
Well, and you have to call the timeout because if the officials have put their arms up on the sideline, then you can't run on the field. The gates are closed, and the only way that you can stop it, now you could try and play with just 11. That's not a penalty, but what if you may give up a big play because of it?
Diamond Ferry showing blitz, and here he comes. And they throw it over top of him, and LaMarcus Coker out of the backfield has a first down. Brought down by Lobendon. Big series here for the Stampeders to try and cut the Rider lead and regain some momentum.
Marcus Coker is just going to be the blitz release guy for Kevin Glenn. Just dump it out, try and beat the blitz. Joe Lobendon's been all over the field this afternoon.
Clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter as Glenn sets up, takes a shot for McDaniel. Off his fingertips, incomplete. Chris McKenzie there defensively. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 with 10 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Let's go back. They're still working on Keith Sholigan. And I'll show you where he got hurt. He's working on the center, John Gott. And Gott, with his arm tied up there, throws him down. He's going to go outside of the screen there, but that's where he got hurt. They're still working on him.
Final play of the quarter, Kevin Glenn, and pass is incomplete, but a pass interference call is upcoming.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have had some issues with this over the last 3 games. Pass interference 6 in the last 3 games.
This will be the 9th of the year.
Pass interference. Saskatchewan number 39. Point of foul. First down.
And a guy playing in his 50th game, Chris McKenzie, draws the flag.
Well, and again, this is Chris McKenzie, a veteran player, 4th year with the team, and he doesn't have to do this. He's in pretty good position. Just Markway McDaniel can turn inside. He had a better shot at the football, actually, than McDaniel. Didn't need to grab him like that.
And the handoff to Cornish inside, and nothing there for John Cornish. Stuffed again. Jay Alford, Craig Butler. And the only negative right now for the Riders, Keith Sholigan, headed to the room after 3 quarters. Quarter for the Roughriders, outscoring the Stampeders 17-3, and there are the numbers through 45 minutes.
Yeah, Darian Durant closing in on 300, and if you're wondering about that Corey Chamberlain guarantee to hold John Cornish at 100 yards or less, he's at 9 carries for 44 of the 55 rushing yards for the Calgary Stampeders. So far, mission accomplished for the Rider defense in that regard.
But some work to be done. Remember, Calgary's won 7 straight against Saskatchewan, including 4 here at Mosaic, and a lot of people remember the game that got away, the first meeting of the year.
Well, they had the Riders had a 17-point lead in that one with about 9 minutes to go, and Calgary came back to win. So Corey Chamberlain knows this one far from over.
We start the 4th quarter, 2nd and 8 for the Stampeders. At the Saskatchewan 38, Kevin Glenn over the middle, and Nick Lewis drops the ball. You don't see that very often.
Distracted by Tyrone Brackenridge. And Brackenridge took a bit of a gamble in this chase because he cut underneath. And when you cut underneath, you are gambling that if this is caught, Nick Lewis turns the corner and probably scores. You can see he's underneath here. He's got to stay on that high shoulder to make sure that if he catches this ball, he can make the tackle. He cuts underneath, just gets there to distract Nick Lewis, who can't come up with it. He gambled and won that time.
So here's Paredes from 45 yards out, 5 for 6 outside the 40 on the season, and he has missed to the right. And Tristan Jackson's going to bring it out. And he'll get across the 15 on the return of the missed field goal. Just the 3rd miss for Paredes on the season. Well, this fall, TSN presents a documentary series that celebrates the 100th Grey Cup. From 8 acclaimed filmmakers come 8 unforgettable stories. Engraved on a Nation series premieres Thanksgiving Monday on TSN.
Can't wait to see those. It's a different perspective from top-notch filmmakers.
First will be on Chuck Ely, but one of them will be on the 13th man, the support of Rider Nation.
And not necessarily about what happened in '09, but about the unique support that this team gets in this province.
Another former Calgary. First, let's get to this. A good run by Jock Sanders. Eric Fraser with the tackle, but Sanders gives the Roughriders some breathing room out across the 30.
He's got some quicks. He's got that fast twitch going on. Jock Sanders, nice little cut there, cut inside of containment.
Pretty good 1-2 punch they've got developing with Sheets and Sanders. I was going to mention there's also going to be a engraved on a Nation film on Edwin Harrison, the offensive lineman of the Calgary Stampeders. Here's a direct snap. Sanders again up near the 40-yard line.
That's that play where they bring Neil Hughes in and he comes down on a crack block, and then they pull Xavier Fulton out, the tackle, to try and kick out any Calgary possibility on the outside. So again, Neil Hughes coming down. Watch how he creeps down inside, and then he blocks off the edge there, and they pull out the tackle to try and kick out anybody outside. Receivers blocking downfield.
Sanders has 8 carries for 47 on the day. 2nd and 4. Durant takes a look around. Hughes is in the area, so Durant throws it away. More pressure from Charleston Hughes, and Darian Durant doesn't want to make a mistake and give up the football.
Well, and the other thing that he's probably not going to do as much of, and that's run and try and get out and just take off and run. He's doesn't want to re-injure that hip flexor and be out any longer, any length of time. He was just missed the one game. Well, basically a game in 3 quarters because he missed most of the Banjo Bowl.
Milo's boot. Marquay McDaniel back inside his 25. Got a return up over the 40. And Joe Lobendon gets in there on the special team tackle. CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC Sierra. We are professional grade. Over 12 minutes remaining here, 4th quarter at Mosaic. Stampeders down by a pair of touchdowns. First down, and John Cornish tries the side. Whoa, what a big block that was. Nick Lewis unloads on Joe Lobendon. One more for the Lewis highlight reel.
He's got Joe Lobendon a couple of times, and Lobendon is so quick to the football, hustling to John Cornish every play, that he doesn't see the hit coming as he goes out. Watch Lewis peel back, and here he comes. And boom.
Stands for offside, and play is stopped.
Marquay McDaniel and Nick Lewis both hopping into that neutral zone.
And some noise from Mosaic that helps disrupt the play.
Offside. Calgary number 16. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Has there been a receiver in the history of this game that's better at this than Nick Lewis?
There's a throwback to McDaniel inside, and Marquay McDaniel stumbling down inside the 50 to the 49-yard line.
Good gain for Calgary on that 1st and 15 after the offside penalty. You want to just basically get back to the line of scrimmage if possible, but if you can get into this situation, now Dave Dickinson can open up the playbook on 2nd and 5 or 6.
McDaniel has the Calgary touchdown in the game. 2nd and 5. Looking for Forzani. And he'll get dragged down. Let's see where forward progress is given. It'll be close to the first down with the mark. And the fans here don't like it.
No, they don't. We'll take another look. He runs this curl route right in front of Tristan Jackson, who's given Johnny Forzani lots of room because of his tremendous speed. You talked about his plays over 30 yards. Is coming right at you here.
So there's the catch.
Just over that line.
Just over the line, but they gave him a full yard to the inside the 44, which was enough for a first down.
Yeah, that was a generous spot.
Here's Cornish, and a nice tackle there. Shoestring stopped by Tyrone Brackenridge.
And Riders are suggesting to the official that should have been a penalty on John Cornish for throwing the football in frustration in the direction of an official. Tackle made there. Gets up and throws the football at the feet of the official, the umpire. And he's lucky he didn't get the flag.
2nd and 5. And here's a completion. Joe West spilled there by Brackenridge, but West has another first down grab, and this march continues, and Calgary threatening to cut into this lead.
Craig Butler is going to come down from the safety spot here. He comes on the blitz, and John Cornish is the guy who steps in to pick him up. That opens up the in-behind throwing lane for Kevin Glenn. Nice little chip block on that blitz.
6th play of the drive upcoming. Short drop, and the pass incomplete, almost intercepted there, in and out of the hands of McDaniel, and then Terrell Mays.
Terrell Mays getting better and better as this season progresses. In the back-to-back games against Winnipeg, Mays held Chris Matthews, who was on a roll at that point, to just 5 catches for 53 yards in 2 games. Daniel should have had it, might have lost it in the sun there, but Mays had a crack at it.
Second and 10, here comes the heat. Odell Willis will bring him down.
Had one last week. Working on Jamichael Dean. And this is that speed, finesse, pass rush off the edge that Odell Willis, when he's at his best, is almost, you can't block him. He's got the quickness to bend the corner, as Karan Williams in BC likes to say, to bend that corner, get in there off the edge quickly around Jamichael Dean, and gets home.
6th of the year for Willis, 6th against Calgary this year for the Riders, 3rd on the day, and a long kick from 44 out is good. And so it's 27-16. At 7 Eastern for the doubleheader next week. Eskimos have lost 4 straight, in danger of going over September for the first time in their history. Aaron Durant trying to end a 4-game win streak for the Calgary Stampeders here today. Still some work to be done. Corey Sheets with a cutback and gets tripped up. Chris Randall the tackle. And a gain of only 1 for Sheets.
Chris Randall has been matched up against Weston Dressler in the passing game. And Dressler's put together a pretty good campaign here this afternoon, but that was a nice tackle and run defense.
So 2nd and 9. Time not an issue yet for Calgary. Pressure on Durant. Steps up and throws it away. Took a late hit that gets a roar from the crowd, but there might have been an instance, Suits, where he takes off when he's healthy.
Yeah, that no question about it in my mind. And I think he actually pulled up, and it's Charleston Hughes now. You be the judge. Should this have been called a late hit on the quarterback as he hustles over there? Durant was trying to throw it away. And I think the crowd here was upset with what looked like it may have been a bit of an elbow from Charleston Hughes.
So the Stamps are going to get the ball back in decent field position.
Well, you're right, Chris. A healthy Darian Durant takes off on that in that play.
End over end boot by Milo. And here's LaMarcus Coker. Flags fly, and Coker will bubble outside, trying to turn the corner. He's got some blocks.
Oh, pulled up.
Diamond Ferry cut him off.
He pulled up.
Yep. Coker, you could tell, slowed up with the reaching back for the hamstring. pulled up on that last return. He gets attention, and we get an injury update on the other sideline from Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. The Roughriders starting to run out of defensive linemen. Keith Shologan went to the locker room. They were looking at his right shoulder and collarbone area. He is out for the game, as is Mick Williams, who left with a leg injury. They're down to 4 defensive linemen, as Brent Hawkins was a scratch earlier this game, although they do have Shamari Williams, a linebacker who played defensive end for the last 2 years when he came over to the Roughriders, guys.
Shamari Williams actually lined up as a defensive end on that last play that was blown dead.
Procedure, 82 Calgary. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
A penalty against Lewis, and again, likely noise related. There's Shamari, who had 11 tackles coming into this game against the Stamps this year. David Baikune. Kevin Glenn under duress, and he gets away. And now he'll throw it away to avoid the sack. And how did he stay upright that time?
Odell Willis had a shot at him, and he can't believe it either. Seen him in this matchup on Jamichael Dean. Takes a little inside move, has a free lane, and has Kevin Glenn for a big loss. Spins out of that one to save it and just get rid of it, and Odell Willis can't believe it.
Well, they've turned up the volume at Mosaic. For Heat. And the pass complete to McDaniel, and he is out at the 47-yard line.
Again, Kevin Glenn has to avoid the rush of Odell Willis. Right up in his face. He does it that time, but because of the penalty on first down, that'll leave Kevin Glenn in a 3rd and 8 here. Seeing 2 good pass rushers. Injured rider is Eddie Russ, defensive back. Seeing so.
Take a look at what happened to Russ as he closed in on McDaniel.
Like his foot
just jammed his.
Right there is his right ankle. Looked like it got caught. His cleats got caught in the turf, and his right ankle just kind of buckled a bit on him. You're looking at that knee shin. Start there and work your way down. Defensively, another hit for the Riders. Mick Williams already out. Keith Shologan, as Lee Jones reported, also gone for the game.
Of course, the Roughriders without the services of Brent Hawkins and James Patrick on the defense.
That's right.
And Tristan Jackson will likely come in on the corner. Terrell Mays will move into Russ's spot inside. One of the options for Corey Chamberlain on defense. Richie Hall's crew is 3rd and 8, and the offense stays out. A little surprised at this. 5:25 to go.
I am a little bit, yeah. Lots of time to kick this away.
Delivery and a completion. Nick Lewis has a first down and more. And so the gamble pays off for John Hufnagel. Dave Dickinson and the Stamps.
Anytime that Nick Lewis lines in up inside here, he's going to get matched up on Tyrone Brackenridge, who's done a pretty good job throughout this afternoon of covering Nick Lewis. He hasn't beat him that badly, but this is a key throw and catch, of course, on a 3rd down gamble. But I guess if you're down by 11, it's not as much of a gamble. You gotta try and get aggressive.
24 yards for Lewis, his 4th catch of the game, and now pass inside for West. And West dropped at the 31. Lobendon on the scene.
Still a little surprised at the decision to do that, even though the play worked. There's lots of time and just a 11-point game. John Hufnagel decides to go on third down, pays off for him, and he's got a player that's clutch in Nick Lewis to go to.
Now in the field goal range, and even a field goal gets them within a touchdown and a 2-point convert. Short yardage, second down plunge, and that should move the chains. So Kevin Glenn checks back in, and with the play call, the 6th play of the drive.
Craig Butler has come back in at safety, and just wondering if Kevin Glenn could find a matchup with the juggling that the Riders have had to do with Eddie Russ out. They moved Milt Collins in at halfback.
Collins inside, and here's Cornish, and he gets cut down by Willis.
Second time in a row that John Cornish has got up and been a little frustrated with the officials. That's just a good play by Odell Willis to redirect and cut him down.
Cornish in the previous 18 games, a full season, 1,491 yards. He has 66 on the day. Kevin Glenn looks for Robbie Bryant, and he's got it. In front of Milt Collins, down inside the 10, and the Stampeders very much alive.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders coming in here with Diamond Ferry. They're going to bring him up and open up the middle. Craig Butler's also to the right of your screen, so the safety's vacated. And to the short side, Joe Ramadan is up in the line and then drops out. But the middle wide open, and there was confusion from the Rider pass rush. They never really got off the ball.
First and goal from the 7. Glenn Perkinner, touchdown. Marquay McDaniel has his 2nd of the game. And the Stampeders edge right back into it.
Well, and the gamble on third down pays off for Calgary with the clutch catch from Nick Lewis. A couple plays later, Kevin Glenn hits Marquay McDaniel, and it's game on.
And now they go for 2 to get within a field goal of the lead, or a field goal of the Riders. See what Dave Dickinson has up his sleeve. Glenn looks to the side, and he's got him. Robbie Bryant's got it. And it's a 3-point game. In for a great finish with under 3 minutes left at Mosaic. But this game very much up in the air right now.
And with all the juggling that Saskatchewan's had to do, that the Marquay McDaniel has taken advantage of that, as has Kevin Glenn, to attack the change in the secondary. When Eddie Russ went out, Milt Collins moved into his spot at halfback.
Field goal and a touchdown on the last 2 series, and now that ball allowed to bounce into the end zone, and this is going to be a valuable single point for Calgary.
It is. Let's take a look at this play. Milt Collins has moved into halfback. This is what got the Calgary Stampeders down into that goal line area on that crossing route. He's playing halfback. He's played corner throughout this game. This is the touchdown, and you're going to see a nice block here from John Cornish to pick up blitz. If you take the safety out of the middle, you've absolutely got to get some pressure on the quarterback. They can't because of the Cornish block. And then when you get to the 2-point convert, again, Milt Collins playing out of position at halfback is in the one-on-one on Robbie Bryant, and it's Bryant who comes up with the catch, and now that's an important single.
Just a 2-point lead as Durant goes back to work. On a roll, he's got an open man, Jock Sanders, and a first down up at the 50. Suits went back to the overtime loss by Saskatchewan against Calgary in their last 6 possessions of that game when they led by 17. Last 6 possessions, minus 2 yards. So the offense has to keep moving the football here to preserve this lead that the Roughriders have let slip away a bit.
Little play action there to drop it off to Jock Sanders. A good way to start the drive for Saskatchewan, getting Darian Durant on the bootleg.
15 for Sanders and a first down at the 50. looking for points and eating up the clock, and Durant had to throw that away under duress, and Chris Randall off the edge.
Well, Randall was the blitzer, and Jamar Wall almost got to this football because Durant was under pressure so quickly and was retreating, throwing as he's falling away from this pressure. He almost didn't get enough on that because it got over there. Jamal Wall's coming downhill quickly and about a half a yard from an interception.
Greg Carr's in. 2nd and 10. Stamp showed blitz. Back off. Durant underneath. Catch is made, and Getzlaf gets close, but he'll be about a yard short. Corey Chamberlain's got a decision to make.
Wow.
Good play by Getzlaf to get a couple of extra yards there, yards after the catch.
Well, fans don't like, the home fans here don't like the spot.
No,
again, that's the second time.
Spot makes it 3rd and 2. It looked like he had got a little further, and that spot really takes it out of Corey Chamberlain's hands.
Without question. I mean, Corey,
Timeout, Calgary.
Corey
The
Chamberlain.
Stampeders stopped the clock.
Let's see where Getzlaf got to. I mean, it looked like
I thought he got to the 51. They spotted outside the 52. Well, we'll take another look. But nothing wrong with that spot when you look at it there.
Yeah, I think,
look who's in on the tackle.
Yeah,
Charleston Hughes was there to make sure he didn't get any closer. So 3rd and 2 and a bit, and Corey Chamberlain has to put it in the hands of his defense.
yeah, and he's got to kick this, by the way. There's no question.
McDaniel back. Angled kick will bounce inside the 10, and that hit Paul Waldo, who was tied up with one of the Stampeders, so that's going to be a no yards call. That'll be 15. 32-yard punt, and a bad break for Waldo as it was kicked into him as he was downfield uncovered.
Well, Paul Waldo was so quick to get down there.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 31. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
It is the 5-yard variety.
He's very quick down the field. That he beat the punt. Bounces off his knee, 5 yards. Now Dave Dickinson has just under 2 minutes. Needs field goal range. What does Richie Hall do? Does he come with pressure, or does he drop guys off? Try and cover Nick Lewis.
13th man steps up, short toss to Robbie Bryant, complete up at the 31-yard line. And Bryant has 7.
Just 4-man pressure there, and Saskatchewan dropping into a zone.
Take the Cornish. Glenn looking downfield as Terrell Mays can't make the interception as it was intended for Joe West, but Mays had a better shot at it, and Calgary's looking at another 3rd down. And it's a turnover on downs.
Tristan Jackson closes quickly and was very close to contacting the intended target a little early. No flags on the field, and they'll turn it over. Watch the close, and you be the judge.
Johnny Forzani looked for a flag. Didn't see a full uprising at the Stampeder bench. But Tristan Jackson, who had to come on with the injury to Eddie Russ, makes the play. Drew Willie hands it off, and Corey Sheets just has to make sure he secures the football. Time for a game story brought to you by Mr. Lube. Get top to bottom maintenance and take good care.
Nick Lewis moves into 10th spot all time in receptions. A couple of key catches here this afternoon. Marquay McDaniel's first 2 touchdowns on the season. Now the Riders want to not only pound it out here, but don't leave Dave Dickinson and Kevin Glenn with any time.
Interesting that it is Willie. That a sign that Darian Durant may be a little gimpy at the moment. Peter Sheets trying to get outside. He gets cut down, and Tad Cornegay, the former Rider, was up to make the play.
Well, it's a couple of things. One is, if Saskatchewan is probably just going to run the ball to Corey Sheets play after play, then take Durant out of there. Handing off the ball doesn't matter, and you don't want to, if you're Corey Chamberlain, push the chances of him injuring that hip flexor any worse down the game at this point. But with that stop by Cornegay, there will be a little bit of time for Kevin Glenn.
Riders will let the clock run down here, trying to extend the lead beyond a Calgary field goal. DeAngelis from 37 out. And Sandro puts it through. The former Stampeder celebrates. And now the Stamps have 36 seconds left, but they need a major score. And Kevin Glenn does not have a timeout at his disposal.
Conventional wisdom says that you go with 3-man pressure if you're Richie Hall, and make Kevin Glenn, now that he has to get the major, be perfect. Hold receivers up. Try and take as much time off the clock as you can, but everything's in front of you if you're Saskatchewan in the back end.
Dumps it down, and there's Lewis underneath trying to get to the sidelines, and he'll get stacked up and brought down at the 44-yard line, just short of the first down, which is not the important issue at this point. McDaniel and a late flag, which will stop the clock, and it looks like it's going against the Roughriders.
And it looks like it's going to be a late hit from Odell Willis on Kevin Glenn. He immediately threw his hands in the air.
Roughing the passer. Saskatchewan number 11. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, a team that had really cut its penalty totals down in this game takes one at an awful time. Moves it to the Saskatchewan 51. Gives Glenn some room to take a shot. Looks for McDaniel, and that one's short hop, and Glenn under pressure, and he is slow to get up, if it getting up at all.
Odell Willis, after that call, he came off the edge as fast as I've seen him come off the edge in his career on that play, and he's the guy who put the hit on Kevin Glenn.
It's been one of his best games as a Rider. See if Jay Alford met Willis at the quarterback. Looks like Tate George got a shot in too. And so Bo Levi Mitchell will come in with 11 seconds to go, and Kevin Glenn may have been knocked out with that shot.
Remember the Hail Mary before the end of the half. Bo Levi Mitchell came in on that one, and he threw it about 70 yards to the end zone on the tip. He might get 2 plays here if he's efficient. But he's got the arm strength. My point being, he's got the arm strength from here to throw it to the end zone.
In this fourth quarter, Kevin Glenn engineered a drive for a field goal, then a touchdown and a 2-point convert. Got them within 2. But now down to 11 seconds to go for young Bo Levi Mitchell, the 22-year-old out of Eastern Washington.
Well, do you take a chance here, go for one play, load up one side of the field and try to get Bo Levi Mitchell to throw it to the end zone on one play? Drew Tate not available. He's ahead of schedule. Or do you try a quick play, get him a little closer, and then go for one more?
You know, he's got the arm strength. Bryant way offside. Pass is incomplete. And Bryant was a couple of strides ahead of that snap.
New snap count, different guy making the call at the line of scrimmage from the shotgun in Bo Levi Mitchell, and let's not.
In deafening environment.
That's right.
Offside. Calgary number 83. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
Forget the crowd noise, making it awful difficult. Receivers have to look in at the snap of the ball, and now the Riders have dropped off. Milt Collins way deep.
Got Terrell Mays. Well, Tristan Jackson's at the goal line. One last shot for Bo Levi Mitchell. Loads it up. That one's going to come down around the 10. It's picked off. Intercepted, and this game is over. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders have ended a 7-game losing streak against their Western rivals from Calgary.
They have to get the win to keep the hopes alive for a home field playoff game. Corey Chamberlain and his guarantee comes through. John Cornish did not get 100.
Roughriders even their record at 6-6. They move into 3rd place in the CFL West. And now 2 points back of Calgary, the Stamps at 7-5. Good game at Mosaic, and the Roughriders prevail. 30-25, the final score. So long from Regina. Football in America is next.